Hello, welcome back. In this video we are going to get this navigating to a meaningful page with a nice search engine friendly URL. Same vibe as in the last video when we had these things working here. Remember this, the item page, and it has a nice URL. Same vibe here. Okay, so to do this we're going to need to make a little change to the database. If you remember the store items table, it has this column called item URL. It's a very cool vibe, and thank you very much. Now we should have the same thing going on the store categories table. I'll be honest with you, I actually forgot to do this, okay? So let's fix that now. I'm going to add one column after cat title, and I'm going to call it cat URL. It's going to be a variable character of 255, and there we go. So this is ready to rock, but as you can see, the cat URL is empty, and that's not too cool. So I'm going to open up store categories, and I'm going to build a temporary little function which I'm going to call fix. And what it does is it gets everything from the database. It then goes through everything like so, and then it says data cat URL equals URL title row cat title, and then we're just going to say update, and then it will update on that ID, and it will update the data. And then down here I'll say all finished, like so. So if we now go to store categories /fix, it says all finished. And if we browse, look, we now have all these cat URLs working. They look cool, and that's a good vibe. Okay, now once again, I'm sorry that I forgot to do that, but that's, you know, I'm just a human being, and that's the vibe. So I'm going to delete this fix thing. We won't need it anymore, but I'm going to make a few modifications just to make sure that this all still works. Okay, so we had a field called cat title. Let me just see if I can straighten things out a bit here, make sure everything is cool. Fetch data from post, that's cool. Right, here we go. So in this fetch data from DB, I'm going to add in cat URL. Okay, cat URL equals row cat URL. That's good. Maybe like that. And what else? Cat title, submit, insert. Yep, so data cat URL equals, and that would be, let me get this right, URL title data cat title. That's about right. And actually that would go wrong line, that would go up here. Okay, I think that's us. Let me just quickly jump through this, make sure. Yep, I think it's cool. It's cool. So that page should now be ready to rock. I do apologize for that little diversion, but you know, hopefully we're now back on track again. Okay, so let's have a look at this drop down thing here. We want this to go to a nice categories page showing Fender guitars or Gibson guitars, something like that, and we want it to be search engine friendly. So on the store categories thing, I'm going to go to this draw top nav, and I suppose we could have called this draw cat nav or something, but who cares, you know, it seems to do the job, right? And I'm going to load up the site settings module. Do you remember the site settings module? Here it is here. Okay, and I'm going to create a variable that's called target URL start, and it equals the base URL, and then on the base URL we're going to add, well, items segments equals, let me just sort this out for you, site settings get item segments. So it's going to be that item segments, okay? Target URL start. Can you handle the vibe? So if we now open up top nav, on this part here, we can jump in and say target URL start. I'm gonna refresh this page, and if we look here, you can see, if you look on the bottom right, okay, look on the bottom right, you can see the URL is starting to look a bit more meaningful. So all we have to do now is load up the cat URL, which is, let me just see, store categories. Let's just leave that. Let me have a look. Actually, I'm lost. Here we go. This is what I want. Cat URL equals row cat URL, and in here I'm just going to add on cat URL like that. Hit refresh, and then if we click onto one of these, look at the URL. It's fantasticola. So let's make this URL meaningful, okay? And it's the same vibe as before. It's exactly the same vibe as before. I'm going to have to find the folder. That would help. So I'll find the modules folder. Here it is. And you can see that we've got this thing called musical here. I can actually just use that. And I think this URL is just called music. So we'll do that. Okay, and just to show you what I'm doing here, the URL is music/instruments, right? So let's load up the music controller. I'm going to set this up, renaming it as music, like so. And the next segment's called instruments. That's the plural there. Okay, so that's going to go like that. I'll just say a little quick hello and refresh. Okay, so you can see that this is working, and it's the same vibe as last time. This time we're going to figure out what the category ID is, okay? And to do that, we're going to look at the cat URL, and then we're going to go to store categories, and we're going to say get cat ID from cat URL, okay? And just to show you that this is working, actually, let me just do that. Cat ID. I'm going to do a little echo cat ID onto the screen here so that you can see what's happening. So store, if we open up store items, do you remember we made this get cat ID from item URL, or get item ID, sorry. We're going to do the exact same vibe, get cat ID from cat URL. Okay, so we take the cat URL and it gets where custom, blah, 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 everything is cool, and it returns the cat ID. So if we hit refresh, you can see that Fender Guitars is in the category too. That makes perfect sense. That's exactly what we would expect to see here. Okay, so we're on music instruments. That's the vibe. And we want it to go to store categories view. There is no store categories view, but that's okay because there's a store items view. And this is remarkably similar to what we're going to be using. So I'm going to paste that view into store categories. I'm going to change the view module to store categories. And let me have a look. That all looks quite good actually. So I'm going to refresh. Now it's looking for a view file. No surprise there really. So if we go to store categories, we'll create the view file, and the view file is called view. Okay, and for the moment, only for the moment, to make this a nice short video, we'll add a little cat title in here. If we hit refresh, There you go. Okay, so we have a nice search engine friendly URL, and we have that working straight from the category navigation here. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.